What's up, y'all? Let's build the motherfucking universe. I'm over here laying in my bed. Oh my god. Is that TMI? Anyway, we're gonna do Rupaul. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? We know who Rupaul is. Okay. So this is Vedic astrology. So this is not tropical. This is Vedic Indian ancient astrology. And it's based off of where everything accurately is in the sky. So keep an open mind. Here we go. He's a Gemini ascendant, Scorpio sun, Gemini moon. He's born November 17, so that makes someone Scorpio. Yeah. Well, it's 23 degrees difference. So if you're in the late degrees of tropical Scorpio, then you're going to be in the early degrees of Vedic Scorpio. And he is in the early degrees. He's 1 degree and 42 minutes of Scorpio. He's right at the beginning. The thing is, he's in the Scorpio Navamsa of Vishaka. Vishaka is mostly in Libra, but a little bit skims off into Scorpio. This is the fourth Navamsa. This is the Scorpio Navamsa of Vishaka, which is in Scorpios. This is double Scorpio energy. This is usually incredibly scary energy. This is usually people who have been through the fucking most in their life. Like, they have seen crazy shit. They might have seen murders. They might have seen, you know what I mean? They have seen a lot of crazy stuff in their life. And these people are naturally taller because it's a Jupiter nakshatra. And because it's a Jupiter nakshatra, that means it's a sattvic energy. So on one hand, it's actually very giving. This person can be wealthy. This person has good work ethic. This is masculine energy. Jupiter is a male planet, so Jupiter people know how to go to work and do what's right. Sacrifice for their family and make money and bring bread to the table and stuff like that. But in this particular Navamsa, it's a very, very much a make or break situation where they can really, really kind of fall in life, or they can actually reach like this ultimate high in life. It's like literally 2 degrees away from the next nakshatra, which is Anuradha, and that's a Saturn nakshatra. And Saturn nakshatra can bless you with tons and tons of karmic riches, for always putting others first, for always being there for people, for always sacrificing for others, for always being kind too, and so this is a really, really intense nakshatra. It's a very make or break. A lot of these men who deal with this nakshatra do know violence, tons of violence. And I even think Mariah Carey has her moon in this nakshatra, or her something like that. And when I read her biography, I was very surprised to learn that some of her earliest memories were violent ones, and that she came from a very unstable life. So, Mariah, she actually was very non-promiscuous. She sacrificed a whole lot when she was really young, for her career. So she kind of did the right moves and achieved that Cinderella status. So it can be very hard for these people to achieve that because they're constantly from day one, like being put down, like being discouraged, being always demoralized, disparaged against, stuff like that. And it's very, very tough for them. But these people, it's a make or break. When if it breaks them, it can lead into drug issues. It can lead to homelessness. It can lead to just like really bad shit. It could even make them just like villains themselves. But if they learn to turn it into a positive thing, then they actually will be incredibly successful, incredibly rich. They will experience everything that Lakshmi, which is the deity associated with the Vishaka, this star, everything that Lakshmi promises when you lead a clean, good lifestyle. So richness and abundance and elegance and lovely homes and stuff like that. And that's when you've put in when you live a clean lifestyle. Because this is Jupiter, right? Jupiter is the holy planet. It's the planet of the ninth house of higher learning, higher thinking, higher philosophy. That's why a lot of religious figures are associated with Jupiter, actually. So that's very intense. Before I even looked at his chart, I've got my own personal theory that queer people have a major placement in a sidereal mutable sign. So I'm gay. I'm Virgo moon. I can't think of any other gay person right now. But every fucking time I look at a gay person, it's either their ascendant, sun, or moon that's in a mutable sidereal sign. And he has two luminaries in Gemini. That's a mutable sign. He's got his ascendant in Gemini in Mrigashira. So the star is called Mrigashira or Mrigashira. But it's in the star in Gemini. So what's interesting is that in the last week, this is the third chart where someone is a Mrigashira ascendant. That's Gemini ascendant. It's Rupaul, Kamala Harris, and there's someone else I can't remember that was also Mrigashira ascendant. I was like, damn, I am really attracting these Mrigashira ascendants. Yeah, it's a mutable sign. Mutable means adaptable, and it means flowing, right? So it kind of makes sense that they're sexually fluid, because especially him having his ascendant, that's like his body, and then his moon, that's his mind. So poor thing, he couldn't get away from it. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually kind of a cool chart. It's like that Scorpio sun in the fourth Navamsha makes him dark, and it makes him come from not like a dark negative place, but actually it could make him come from, he has quite a story to fucking tell, basically. But also that Gemini ascendant, in the Gemini moon, it makes for someone who's very creative, got a lot of writing abilities. Definitely writing abilities. And this all this makes him like super thin too, because Mrigashira is Mars. So Mars people have a lot of energy. Mars people they look so scrawny as kids, and they look like they have no energy. Look like they have no like strength, but actually they have more stamina than other people. So that's pretty interesting. But he's got his moon and his Mars conjunct. He's got his moon and his ascendant conjunct. That means that he's got his moon in his first house. So people with their moon in their first house, they are attractive. I think Rihanna has her moon in her first house, if I'm not mistaken. And she talks about liking the drink. Do y'all remember from I Dream of Jeannie, Major Healy or Major Nelson? He had his moon in his first house, and I found out researching that he actually was a very, 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 very heavy alcoholic. So I just know from experience, just looking at a lot of charts, that moon in the first house can make someone prone to alcoholism, especially when Mrigashira, already the deity, the god associated with Mrigashira is Chandra, the moon god. So it's already got moon associated with his moon, which is in his first house. So, and moon is very feminine. So I usually see this energy being played out in very conventional ways. But he's not expressing this in conventional ways. He's expressing these traits actually in incredibly feminine ways, which I understand he's gay, but that doesn't mean that he's feminine. You can be a gay masculine man, you can be a gay feminine man. So this chart, you know, it, he's expressing, because we know him so well, he's a drag queen, you know, he's expressing it in such a feminine way. I thought that he would have a Pisces ascendant because I see a lot of drag queens having Pisces ascendant, but then I see that I'm wrong. He's a Gemini ascendant, but then I realize what's interesting is that I actually am wrong. I don't notice what's it called? Men who dress like women. I don't know why I'm blanking out, but they actually generally are not Pisces ascendant. It's actually trans people who are Pisces ascendant, and he's not trans. He's a cis male, so that makes sense also. So he has his Rahu and Venus in the 4th house. Rahu in the 4th house makes you very obsessed with beauty. So not only is he gay, and I mean he's got 2 mutable signs in his luminaries, but not only is he gay, does he have gay placements in his ascendant and his moon, but then he has Rahu and Venus in the 4th house. 4th house is the most feminine house. It's Cancer. It's the mother. I wonder if he wanted to be a mother. In a way, he is a mother, isn't he? And he's a mother in the correct way too, because if it was that he actually had kids, he would have to wait till the second half of life where he's so much more mature and he's more living out his Navamsa chart. But he definitely would have made a mistake having kids in his first half of his life, even though Rahu in the 4th house kind of makes you want to be a mother. And normally I wouldn't say this for a man, except that we know he's gay and we know he expresses himself in incredibly feminine ways. So I do want, but at the same time, he is a mother actually, because what do we call like iconic queens in the gay community? We say mother, and he is like the mother drag queen, right? So, and he actually is expressing his Rahu in the best way. And also Rahu in so assuming this is a woman's chart, when I see Rahu in the 4th house, that can make them so fucking just obsessed with beauty and makeup and mirrors everywhere and just glamour and just like the girliest fucking girl you've ever seen, especially with Venus there. Like for a woman with Rahu and what is it? Virgo. And Venus is a Virgo too. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, so first of all, that makes you so beautiful. If this was a woman's chart, that Rahu, because I was thinking if this was a woman's chart, you know, Gemini ascendant, Scorpio sun, Gemini moon, those of course are pretty, and I know very beautiful women who are like that. But it's not that feminine beauty, that curvaceous beauty. And he actually is a tall, skinny guy, right? So there is not really that curvaceousness, right? But looking at Venus and Rahu in the 4th, that makes him obsessed with beauty, but still won't give that real delicate, flowery femininity. But having Venus and Rahu in the 4th house, that right there will give you that femininity, that missing piece, you know, that real essence, you know, that real light, you know, soft, beautiful, elegant, everything that femininity is, not just because Rahu and Venus, which makes you obsessed with beauty, but because it's in Virgo. Virgo is, in my opinion, Virgo is the most feminine sign. Like people say Taurus is the most feminine sign, and I get that. and there's a lot of inner beauty there, and there's a lot of inner satisfaction there, which makes them beautiful because they have such a deep connection with their own inner unique beauty. They love their souls, Taurus women. That's what I like about them, and they own it. But Taurus women, they can be bulls. Taurus is a bull, right? Bulls aren't feminine. Like, maybe they're feminine, but they're not like elegant, when they move. Bulls are bullheaded. Bulls are in a china shop, So, but Virgo is, first of all, Virgo is the only woman, the only female woman in the zodiac. So I think that says one thing. And the other thing is, Venus is in Hasta. Hasta is so fucking feminine. It's a moon nakshatra. It makes these people have, curves on them. So it can have high cheekbones or big eyes, or really, honestly, what it does, it can do that. Actually, it really can. And it can also, I notice, can give them really great skin, like really sexy, smooth, kind of golden skin. They really, it's like they look like eternally moisturized or something like that. Venus and Hasta. Venus is actually debilitated in Hasta because it's in Virgo. Venus in Virgo is debilitated. So these make, and so while they living out their first half of their lives, best not to get in a relationship because they can tend to attract a lot of bad relationships, especially with Rahu and Venus there. So Rahu and Venus in Virgo, that means that you can probably attract a lot of people who just purely you love the way they look, or if you do express this in a healthy way, it could mean that you date a lot of artists, or you date a lot of creative people, or you date people who are very intelligent. Actually, yeah, because Hasta is an incredibly intelligent nakshatra, and actually Mercury is exalted in Hasta nakshatra, and Mercury is the planet of the intellect. So it could actually mean that he, in this first half of his life, he was dating really, really, really intelligent, creative people. But on the negative side, it can mean that he was dating people that really just more satisfied his sexuality, his kind of lust, even though these were not really healthy relationships or good relationships. But Venus and Virgo can really make you very, very attractive, super attractive. So again, like if I'm reading this, if this is a woman's chart, the more I see, dive into this chart, the more I see a very, very, very beautiful woman. Rahu and Venus in fourth house is a beauty placement for a woman. Moon in the first house is a fame. I'm sorry, is a beauty placement. The thing is, technically, his moon is in his 12th house, but not really. But if you could say moon is in the 12th house because it technically is in a lower degree than the ascendant, so technically it is in the 12th house, which is interesting because moon in the 12th house is a fame indicator. And I do know he said that his mother went to like a psychic, and she was told that her baby's gonna be famous. And technically, I mean, his moon is in the 12th house, and that's a fame placement. So that's interesting. I wouldn't really call it that because it's all about being in the same sign. So, I don't know. It's like splitting hairs there. And actually, different Vedic astrologers would tell you different things. So I don't know. It's hard to say. And it's interesting that I'm talking about psychic and mothers. I wonder if his mother was a psychic, because mother is the fourth house, and he has his Venus in Hasta. So his mother was very beautiful. His mother might have also been creative, and very pleasant to look at. Very good dresser in public. Might have been another way. Might have been a lot more drama or trauma going on with the mother behind the scenes because Rahu is there. Rahu is generally not that great. Rahu can bring things. Rahu can bring death. And Venus is also a death planet. So both of that sitting in the fourth house. Mars in the fifth house, that's all your energy going into the arts, into creativity, performance, sex, relationships, romance, seeking the beauty in life. That's all fifth house. It could be kids too. I mean, it could. Mars in the fifth house, it could mean kids. It's actually kind of good for kids because to make kids, a man needs like a tamasic energy. Where's his Jupiter? Oh, okay. Yeah, his Jupiter's in Scorpio. That's not that tamasic. It's still a feminine sign. But he's got Mars in the sixth house. Actually, you know what? Mars in the sixth house makes you a good hard worker. Makes you a really good hard worker. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, Mars is in the fifth house. I'm sorry. That's Mars in the fifth house. I'm sorry. So one last thing I want to talk about is this Ketu in Pisces. His Ketu, which is the south node of the moon. His Ketu is in Uttarabhadrapada. That's a star. Actually, it's a star in Pegasus, but we associate it with Pisces. So what's interesting is people who are the star of Uttarabhadrapada, there's a big theme with them. A lot of the times the theme is growing up very poor, growing up with no resources, no real support, and rising through the ranks, putting in the honest to God hard work, putting in the hours, and then eventually earning your way, being self-made to the top, surviving and thriving. These kids had to grow up very fast. They were put in very harsh and very adult situations at a very, very young age. And this is Saturn, so this is Virgo. Okay. But anyway, that's good with business. That's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, these people, it's such a huge common occurrence. In fact, go to Claire Nocti and type in Uttara Bhadrapada, Uttarabhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, Claire Nocti on YouTube, and it's this whole hour and a half like video about how it ties to a lot of Cinderella themes. Which is the whole growing up, having a very woeful childhood, but then turning it into something incredibly positive, something incredibly great. So this is a theme, and this suggests that he comes from a long line of people who are self-made or people who have risen through the ranks through their hard work, and there might be a lot of military people in his family, but also it could also mean that he comes from a long line of people who come from suffering, because Pisces is suffering. Pisces is giving away things, like so Pisces is like in its far off isolated places. So this can be, he comes from a long line of people who maybe have passed away or went to jail, or just wasn't there, or there was a great distance. He comes from people who have suffered a lot. And then, or on the good side, he might come from people who are who grew up poor but are now like really rich. Yeah, I think that was good. 24. All right, bye.